Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English with Podcasts. I'm Emma, and I am so thrilled to have you here for another session of natural, deep, and real English.
And I'm Leo. Hello to all the students, the hardworking parents, and the lifelong learners listening in today. Whether you are currently in school, heading back to university, or just want to remember those busy days, this episode is packed with useful language to help you describe your day. Emma, how was your school experience back in the day?
It was a whirlwind, Leo. A whirlwind is a great word for something that is very fast and full of energy, sometimes a bit chaotic. My school routine was strict, but very rewarding. I remember the smell of fresh pencils and the sound of the heavy school gates opening in the morning.
I agree. School is the place where we learn the most foundational English, the words we use to organize our lives and interact with others. So today, friends, let's walk through a typical school day from start to finish. We're going to cover everything from the commute to the final bell.
Let's start at the very beginning, the journey to school. How do you get there?
Most students commute. This is a word we use for traveling between home and work or school. Some walk, while others take the school bus. In many American movies, you see that iconic yellow bus. In other countries, students might take the subway or the tram.
Exactly. You might say, I wait at the bus stop at 7:30. Or if your parents drive you, you can say, my dad drops me off at the school gates.
To drop off is a very common phrasal verb. It means to take someone to a place and leave them there. The opposite, of course, is to pick up.
My mom picks me up at 3 o'clock. Once you walk through those gates, you enter the campus. The campus is the whole area of the school, the buildings, the fields, and the library. The first thing you might do is go to your locker.
A locker is a small metal cupboard where you store your books and your backpack. You don't want to carry everything all day because it can be very heavy. Carrying a heavy backpack can give you a sore back.
Then the bell rings. That is the signal that school is starting. Many schools start with homeroom or registration. That's when the teacher calls the roll or takes attendance. They want to see who is present and who is absent.
When the teacher calls your name, you should say present or here. It's important to be punctual. Punctual means you are on time. If you are late, you are tardy.
In some schools, if you are tardy too many times, you might get a late slip from the office. Now let's talk about the lessons or classes. Leo, what was your favorite subject?
I loved history. I enjoyed learning about the past, but I struggled with mathematics, or math for short. I found equations and fractions very confusing. My brain just doesn't like numbers that much.
I was the opposite. I loved science, especially when we did experiments in the lab. There is something so exciting about mixing liquids in a test tube to see what happens.
Oh, the science lab was fun. We had to wear safety goggles and lab coats to protect ourselves. It made me feel like a real scientist.
After a couple of classes, it's time for a break. In the UK, they often call this recess. This is a chance to leave the classroom and breathe some fresh air.
Recess is the best time to hang out with your classmates. To hang out means to spend time together in a relaxed way. You can talk about your hobbies, play games, or just recharge your batteries.
Recharge your batteries is a beautiful idiom. It means to get your energy back after working hard. You might have a snack during break, like an apple, a granola bar, or a packet of crisps.
Then it's back to the classroom. Let's look at the items on your desk. You have your notebook, your textbook, and your pencil case. In modern schools, many students also have a laptop or a tablet.
Inside the pencil case, you have pens, pencils, an eraser to fix your mistakes, and maybe a highlighter to mark the most important information in your notes.
I always used a ruler to make sure my lines were straight and my work looked neat. I was a very neat student.
Neat means organized and clean. I was a bit messy, Leo. My notebook was full of doodles in the margins.
Doodles are small drawings you make when you are bored or thinking. I think doodling actually helps some people focus. It keeps the creative part of the brain busy while the logical part listens to the teacher.
Let's talk about lunchtime. This is the big break in the middle of the day. Do you bring a packed lunch from home or do you eat in the cafeteria?
I usually ate in the cafeteria, which some people call the canteen or the dining hall. I would stand in the lunch line and wait for my tray. Usually there was a daily special meal.
In the cafeteria, you might have hot meals like pasta or stew, or you might just grab a sandwich. It's the most social part of the day because everyone from different classes meets in one place.
After lunch, you might feel a bit sleepy, but then you have PE. PE stands for physical education. That's when you go to the gym or the sports field.
You change into your gym clothes or your PE kit. You might play soccer, basketball, volleyball, or do track and field events like running and jumping.
It's a great way to blow off some steam. That's an idiom that means to release stress or extra energy. After sitting still for 3 hours, your body needs to move.
After the final bell rings, the school day is officially over, but for many students, the work continues. They have extracurricular activities. These are things you do that are not part of the normal lessons.
Like drama club, where you practice acting, choir for singing, debate team for arguing points, or chess club for strategy. These activities help you develop soft skills like leadership and communication.
And then the part every student loves to hate, homework. Sometimes it feels like it never ends.
Or assignments. If it's a big piece of work that takes a few weeks, we call it a project. You have to research the topic online or in the library.
When do you have to finish it? That's the deadline. You might say, the deadline for my history essay is Friday at midnight.
If you don't finish on time, your teacher might give you a detention. That means you have to stay at school late or during lunch as a punishment. It's very boring to sit in a quiet room and do nothing.
We don't want that. It's better to stay on top of your work. To stay on top of things means to stay organized and not fall behind. If you fall behind, you feel stressed.
Let's look at some verbs we use for studying. You don't just read your books, you review your notes from the day. You analyze the information.
You memorize facts and dates for a quiz or a test. A quiz is usually short, but a test is longer and more important.
And if it's a very big, important test at the end of the year or the end of the semester, we call it an exam. Exams are the finals that decide your grade for the whole year.
Before an exam, some students cram. This is a very common word in English. To cram means to try to learn a lot of information in a very short time, usually the night before the test, because you didn't study earlier.
It's not the best way to learn. Your brain can't keep all that information. It's much better to pace yourself. To pace yourself means to do a little bit of work every day so you are always ready.
But we're all human. Sometimes we get overwhelmed. Overwhelmed is that feeling when you have too much to do and you feel like you are drowning in work.
If you feel overwhelmed, it's important to take a step back and prioritize. Prioritize means to decide which task is the most important and do that one first.
Let's practice a conversation between a teacher and a student. This will help our listeners hear how these words sound in a real situation. Emma, you be the teacher, Mrs. Smith.
Good morning, Leo. Please take your seat and settle down. The class is starting. Did you finish your lab report from yesterday?
Good morning, Mrs. Smith. Yes, I handed it in to the front office this morning. I put it in your pigeonhole.
Excellent. Now, everyone, please turn to page 84 in your textbooks. We are going to discuss the environment. Leo, can you read the first paragraph out loud?
Of course. Excuse me, Mrs. Smith. Can I borrow a pen? Mine has run out of ink and I can't find my spare one.
Yes, you can borrow one from my desk, but make sure you return it at the end of the lesson. And everyone, please take notes while I'm speaking. There might be a pop quiz later this week.
A pop quiz? That's the most frightening thing a teacher can say. It's a surprise test that you didn't prepare for.
They are scary, but they keep you on your toes. That means they keep you alert, ready, and making sure you are always listening.
We use some great phrases there. Hand in means to give your finished work to the teacher.
Settle down means to become quiet and calm.
Now, let's talk about grades or marks. In the US, they use letters like A, B, C, D, and F. An A is excellent, and an F means you failed.
In other places, you get a percentage like 80% or 90%.
If you do very well, you pass with flying colors. That means you passed with a very high score.
But what if you don't do well? What if you fail the test?
Well, failing is just a setback. It means you need to study harder next time. Many schools allow you to retake an exam if you fail the first time.
To retake means to take the test again. It's a second chance. I think school is about growth, not just about getting perfect scores.
I agree. Let's think about the different types of schools. Primary school or elementary school is for young children, usually aged 5 to 11.
Then you move up to secondary school or high school for teenagers. This is where things get more specialized. You start to choose which subjects you like the most.
And finally, many people go to college or university. This is higher education. You choose a major, which is your main subject of study, like law, engineering, or literature.
In high school, the person in charge of everything is the principal or the head teacher. They're the boss of the school.
They often give assemblies. An assembly is when the whole school gathers in the auditorium or the great hall to listen to news, stories, or rules.
I remember sitting on the cold floor during assemblies, trying not to fidget. To fidget means to move your hands or feet because you're bored or nervous.
I used to fidget a lot. My teachers always told me to sit still.
Another important part of school is teamwork. You often have to work in pairs, that's 2 people, or work in groups of 4 or 5.
This is great practice for the real world. In a job, you always have to collaborate with other people and share the workload.
And the best part of school is the friendships. Your peers are the people your own age who are in the same class as you.
Some of my peers from high school are still my best friends today. We went through the struggles of exams together, and that made us very close.
That is so true. School is where we learn how to navigate social situations, how to be kind, how to resolve conflicts, and how to be a good friend.
For our listeners who are students right now, or maybe parents helping their kids, what is your top tip for a good school routine?
My tip is to use a planner or a digital calendar. Write down your timetable or schedule so you never forget which books you need to bring.
A timetable is like a map for your day. It shows you that period 1 is English, period 2 is science, and so on.
My other tip is to ask questions. Don't be shy. If you don't understand what the teacher said, raise your hand.
To raise your hand is the universal sign for I want to speak. It's much better than shouting out.
Most teachers love it when students ask questions. It shows you are engaged. Engaged is a much better word than just listening. It means your mind is active and you are thinking.
I want to be an engaged learner. That should be everyone's goal.
Let's review some of the vocabulary for our listeners to take away today. To take away something means to remember the most important points.
We learned commute, drop off, and pick up for the journey.
We learned attendance, locker, and homeroom for the start of the day.
We talked about subjects, labs, experiments, and recess.
And we covered notebooks, neat, messy, and doodles.
Don't forget the big ones: homework, deadlines, cramming, exams, and passing with flying colors.
Using these words will make you sound very confident when you talk about your education, whether you are in an interview or just talking to a friend.
Emma, I feel like I've just finished a whole day of school after this conversation.
Me too, Leo. But it's a good feeling. Learning is a lifelong process. You never really graduate from learning.
To graduate means to successfully finish your studies and receive your diploma or degree.
Even after you graduate, you can still be a student of life. That's what we are doing here on this podcast.
Exactly. We want to hear from you. What was your favorite school subject? Or what was the funniest thing that happened to you in a classroom? Tell us in the comments.
We love reading your stories. It helps us feel like we are all in one big global classroom together.
And if you have any questions about school vocabulary, just ask. We're here to help.
Don't forget to like this episode and subscribe to English with Podcasts. It really helps us keep creating these lessons for you.
And share it with a friend. Maybe you can practice the teacher-student conversation together.
That's a great idea, Leo. Practice makes perfect, or at least practice makes progress.
Thank you for being such wonderful students today. We are proud of your hard work.
Keep practicing your English, keep being curious about the world, and keep showing up for yourself.
This has been Emma and Leo. We hope you have a fantastic day at school, at work, or at home.
Until next time, happy learning. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.